Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. If you are joining on Facebook, I want to thank you, and everyone in the chatmosphere, welcome. Who's here first? Angela is. Hello, Angela. Welcome. Oh, nice to see you too, Joyce. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, CWS. Hello. You're looking forward to this? Okay, I'm glad you are. Susan and Donna is here. Oh, our sister Girl Code is here. I got the chance to talk to her, just a quick conversations, never long enough, right? Girl Code and I have been on the phone like so many hours at a time. You would not believe it. Would they, Girl Code? Hey, B Wolf, hello. And Sean is here. Hey, Sean. And T. Witten, I haven't seen you in a bit. Hi, T. Witten. And we have, oh, wait, who else? Golden Amethyst. Hello. Thank you for joining, Golden Amethyst. Yay, Lori's here. You're here too. Hey there. You said that time again. It's that time again to prove things we didn't know. Okay, are you ready? Ready? Molly's here. Hey, Molly. Welcome. And Deanna, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Deanna's always nice. And Jay Blair, wow, I love it. Look at that. Are you really a Washington family? The Spencer family was close to the Washington family. Oh, yeah, I am really, Jay, I am really a Washington family. And the more I learn about it, the more I learn I am really a Washington family. So yes, it's a totally like legit name. It did not come from a slave name. It's my legit bloodline. Washington, yes. So I want to start with talking about repentance and sharing a personal testimony, just, not to get into some long story, but for me, I had to look at things that I had been taught about identity. We've been talking about identity, and I think this will be a very important thing for all of us. It does not matter if you don't fall into one of the paradigms of black and white. I have to be honest, I don't know how other races that are called whatever, red and yellow, I don't know how they put up with this constant black, white, black, white. It kind of seems like nobody else matters, right? If you're not in the black box or the white box, because they claim, there's yellow. So you have the Asians and you have Latinos, that everybody kind of fits into the white box. If you're not in the black box, you're in the white box now. As we know, being white, okay, trigger warning. I hope that everybody here knows that we talk about race. We don't shy away from race. As soon as I said race, that's when the connectivity went down to 1 bar. So I'm not allowed to say the word race. Wow. Okay. So can you still hear me? Let me know. Hey, Johnny Borealis. I know none of you are triggered by talk about race, but anybody new might Yeah. So you can hear me okay? So I said a trigger word, I guess, race. All right. Okay. Now it looks like it's a strong connection. And of course, that happens within the StreamYard platform. It's not on my end. Okay. Again, thank you, Molly. Okay, you hear me well. Good. So the term white and the term black, let's talk about it in a way that's more of an like an observer. If we can do that sometimes, it helps not to be triggered by it all. So I like to do that sometimes, step outside and look at something from a longer lens and just take the emotions out of it. Just deal with, what do I discern from the information that I research? So white is a construct. It's a color, or whatever you want to say, lack of color. But when you look at people that are supposed to be white, right, you're not white in color, or whatever that would be. If we were to take a Crayola, okay, we're all kids. Let's just be just free to talk about this, okay? If we all had the biggest box of crayons that has every shade, they even have skin shades now in the crayons. So we pick up a white crayon and you put it next to your white friends or yourself. You don't look like that crayon. Some of you might, okay? I've been outside, and some people don't look like they get a lot of sun. So I'm just saying, ordinarily, you are not the same color as that. You have peach high tones and whatever. You have skin shades, various shades of whatever, beige and whatever. So the same with the color, they say black. So most of our devices and things are black, because black has, it's used in a lot of things, like especially technology. It's used in whatever they're doing in NASA. You know how it is. They use the tiles, the black and the white tiles, because black absorbs heat. Okay. Black absorbs light, they say. So they talk about black holes, taking in all the light. So we can get into all the things that they talk about black. We went through it. You all added some great things. Jay Blair says, I eat crayons. See, we have all types here. Jay Blair eats crayons, and I am not judging you, Jay. How do they taste? Just drop it in the chatmosphere. How do they taste? Because that's important, right? So, black again. So we have this checkerboard type of polarity that plays out, and it plays out with the red and the blue. So we have our political system here in America, and it might play out that way in other nation states. So you have all of this red, blue. And when you look at the state of our nation, the red and the blue are pretty much working together, right? Can we agree on that? Or am I just kind of out to left field? The red side and the blue side are working together. They really are. And excuse me, it doesn't matter which candidate from those sides comes into office every 8 years. It doesn't disrupt the continuity. Unless you had someone that came through in 2016, seemed to do some disruptive things. Everybody has their opinion. A lot of people think that everybody, including him, is part of the whatever. I welcome all of that. I don't know how you feel. We have I think a broad range, even within our community, as they call it, the truth community. It just has a lot of, I hope it has enough variety of thought, okay, where we don't have to feel that everybody has to believe the same thing. Okay, some of you are into Palladians and the whatever other planets, and that's cool. I'm good with that. I can say that I've been there in times where I was observing things and I was open to ideas about out there in space. So everybody has their thing. So Nancy is saying, I can't trust any politicians, red or blue. Yeah, it's getting down to that point where you're just asking questions, because if we truly had a party that believed one thing and an opposite, truly, we would have seen changes that go in a certain direction, but we don't see sweeping change as much. We have what they call rhinos that are in the supposed Republican side of our political whatever divide. But the people who claim to be Republicans, a lot of them started out as Democrats, including, Trump was a Democrat. A lot of us were Democrats. So we can't really knock people that change parties, because it's happening right now in big, massive numbers. People are walking away from the Democratic Party. And I walked away from the Democratic. I was only a Democrat because I was born in a family that's what I was told, that we are Democrats. So you don't question it. And that was back in the times where families sat at the table. Okay. You all here may still do it, but we sit at the table and have dinner. We didn't have these devices and things, so we could sit at a table and have conversations. And in my home growing up, we had political conversations. So I was told that this is how we believe, this way. And I didn't question it until I started questioning it. That moment where you're thinking, I think they're lying to me. I really do. So you start to go on a journey of discovery. And a lot of us, we gave up politics. Like, I was not political. I was what they called apolitical. I was really a one topic person. As of late, I was more of a pro-choice. I was very concerned about people who supported pro-choice. So I didn't care if the person was a Democrat or a Republican. If they supported pro-choice or, the protection of life in the womb, I was all on board with them, So I guess you could say I was more of a undecided, independent, whatever. But I didn't care about the voting practices and the whole, uproar that they get in every 4 years. It's like, it feels so, it's very manipulative, right? It manipulates us so much. And I could see it early on. But, most of my friends and family, Democrats, okay? So coming from a Democratic social group and family, when I went into I don't care about politics, that wasn't such a big deal, right? It was until I saw the election of the first Black president, not Bill Clinton, remember? They said he was the first Black president. Yeah, that was just so silly. But, the historical moment of having a Black family in the White House, that was something that got me interested in the political process. I was observing again because I didn't vote. And I was looking at how everybody was just in love with this family. And it was so much excitement, if you could remember around that time. Lots of energy. And, I thought, okay, I'm not feeling this person, but maybe some good things will come from it. And it did seem like in the beginning that could be the case. But then I was doing too much research, so you know how that goes. So I was looking under the hood and seeing what was really happening and discerning things. So anyway, it sounds like a lot of us went through being a Democrat and identifying, especially if you belong to one of these minority groups, that they claim to care about. And when you walk away from that, you may lose friends and family, unfortunately, because it became more and more divided. It started with probably George Bush, maybe. I don't know, the Bush administration, when all of that stuff happened in New York, right, in September. And that brought a divide because it seemed like one side wanted to go right into the Middle East or Afghanistan and get the terrorists. Remember, we had to win this war against terror. So that kind of got a lot of us on the same page, right? But then we started questioning the Bush family and saying, okay, isn't it funny that Kanye was factored in? I don't know how you all feel about Kanye, but Kanye made that comment, remember, on stage when they had the fundraiser for the hurricane that happened in New Orleans, right? So Kanye was there. What hurricane was that again? I can't believe I'm forgetting this one. Fill me in on all these events. So this was Hurricane something. Wasn't it a hurricane? So it flooded New Orleans, and a lot of conspiracy theories were flying. And we then started to say, it's possible that our government could do something like that. Possible, right? You heard about the levees breaking, Katrina. Thank you, Golden Amethyst. Can you imagine? I couldn't remember Katrina. Yes, so Katrina happened, and Kanye West was on the stage, and he made a very provocative statement, right? We all remember, if you were old enough to remember Katrina, when he got on the stage and said, George Bush hates black people. Remember? And it was like the comedian, what's his name? What's the comedian that was on the stage with him? Dana. Oh, he played Austin Powers, right? Hey, baby. So he's on the stage and he's like, he's like, I'm not with this guy, okay? George Bush, don't come to my house. Don't send drones at any weddings I attend, right? Remember? He wanted no parts of Kanye. So that was fascinating that Kanye made a statement like that, right? Hey, Deborah, thanks for coming by. Look at that. Yep. Worked on the Senator Carol Moseley Braun campaign. Great experience. Nice, Deborah. Very nice. I know her name. I don't know a whole lot about her right now, but I remember Carol Moseley Braun. Yes. I bet you learned a lot working on the campaign. It's nice to work on things like that, grassroots, and get to know the community. So I like the local politics, I'll say. Really local. I love grassroots things. So 1 minute, let me get a little water. Thank you, Mike Myers. There we are, Molly. Mike Myers. So Mike Myers was definitely not here for what Kanye was saying about the Bush family. Can you imagine? So Kanye is disruptive, I like to say. He's a disruptor, and a lot of disruptors are, they're special, right? A lot of you all are disruptors. You might call me a disruptor, but I think disruption is good, okay? Status quo is boring, and it's not organic. It's organic to have differences, right? So, I'm just recalling things. This is not really well planned right now. I wanted to just be I want to flow because I've been taking lots of notes, as you know, and I've been listening to Kev Gillespie, of course. I talk about him a lot. I listen to a lot of different, pieces of content, and I get a lot out of Coffee and Kush and what he is uncovering over there, the work that he's doing. It is very disruptive. It is not going to be for everyone, but I am gaining a lot of understanding. I'm putting pieces together and it's powerful. So, yes, hey, Counterculture, I love that you're here. Welcome. Jesus was a disruptor. That's probably one of the most like powerful and profound things that anyone can say. Yes, the most disruptive that has ever walked the planet. Would you say? The most disruptive would be Jesus. Yes. Uh, you could start a whole war over, okay, where did Jesus come from? What color was he, right? What type of hair did he have? Did he have 1C, 4C, 5D hair? Okay, woolly hair. Whatever. Is that him that we see in all the museums? Okay, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, long-haired rock star, looks like you would meet him in Whole Foods, right? Kind of a Whole Foods type of guy that we see represented, right? So you could start a whole kitchen table war, okay? Jay said, Jesus lives matter. I like that. I like that a lot. Hey, Martin. How are you? Welcome, Martin, a new name. Let's give a warm welcome to Martin, please. Martin says, disruption throughout all our corruption, maybe unity throughout all communities. I like that. Oh, thank you for sharing. I like that a lot. Girl Code is saying 33 in the chat, fitting the Jesus topic. There you are. Hey, Tina. Thanks for coming by, Tina. You say, no, I don't think he was the pale-skinned, British-speaking Jesus in the pictures. Yeah, we can all agree on that. And I don't think it should take away from white people and your identity, because I want to challenge you white people who ascribe to being white. I want to challenge you, as I'm being challenged, that we all look into our classification. And if we're being called a color, then we all have to reconsider the classification that we have agreed to, we have contracted with. So that's why I say I would like to challenge white people as well as Black people to consider that being designated this way is not correct. Okay, I'm going to talk about that when it comes to Black right now, okay? So I'll deal with Black because that's what I've known my life, okay? I don't know what it's like to be white, okay? Even though they tried to tell me, you talk like a white girl, your name is a white name. It's like, okay, Jennifer is not a white name. I've already covered this. My name is not a white name. I was told this by, trolls in school. They tease me about, kids do that. I'm not saying that I'm a victim. I'm just saying kids found a lot of fun in my name. So Washington was also a fun thing to tease me about. The kids would say, oh, you're George Washington's daughter or something. You're related to George Washington and Martha Washington. And for some reason, that would put me in my feelings, okay? I would be like, no, I'm not. Stop it. What? Okay, so that means I did not understand my name. Why would I be upset and triggered because the kids are telling me that I'm related to George Washington and Martha? Because it turns out I am. So yeah, if I knew enough back then, I would say, yeah, and right? So that was that. And back to the democratic kind of construct and the color thing. So when I remember the things that I was taught about the democratic, I guess, points of interest, it centered around race and gender and civil rights, those kind of things. And of course, welfare and being generous and giving a lot of things to people through social programs. So that was what I was programmed and conditioned to think is good government that takes care of the people, right? Uplifts the poor people with freebies. Okay. Greetings, Karen. Welcome. Thank you. Our beautiful Harlem Sentinels here. Yes. Matthew, you're here too. I love it when you come by, Matthew. You said Washington was righteous, but many realize that not all is as it appears. Thank you, Matthew. Yes, I'll be diving down into who was Washington. I won't cover it so much here on this live stream because I want to talk about this is aspect of repentance. And repentance can seem like it's a very religious term. People don't like it so much, but I like the word. Hey, Dave, welcome. So repentance simply means to change your mind, to turn away from something you thought was true, reconsidering and changing your mind. Excuse me. So black pill is a term. A lot of people may feel, if you're honest, you may feel that you're taking a black pill right now. Some people, I don't know. I haven't been on Telegram, so I don't know what a lot of people are feeling right now. But I hear that people are losing hope out there. They need a lifeline. They're not feeling good about the direction our country is going in. And it's making people a little bit anxious, would you say? I don't know. Let me know how you're doing, if you don't mind. Is everybody okay? Check in, please. Let us know how you're faring. So it's a time of mental health crisis for a lot of people. It's a lot of depression and things like that. Because of the economy, when you have a lot of fear in the marketplace, and we've dealt with fear since 2020, lots of fear. And that can take a toll, sustained fear, and constantly every day it's more fear and propaganda. So people that consume a lot of propaganda, they probably feel like they're on an ocean of waves tossing them all amok. So that's unfortunate because a lot of people need to just unplug from the propaganda if they're still watching, especially the media that we are presented with now. It's so obvious that it's very heavily leaning towards, we can say the left, but then again, I don't want to always fall into the trap of the left and the right, because the right is in tandem. They're working together to maintain whatever they're doing right now. I've heard Paul say this is the going out of sale of America right now. So Joe Biden was put up there to do the going out of business sale for the corporation. That's okay. I mean, he's, look at him. I don't know what the people that voted for him see when they look at him. I've been hearing that people are not happy. I don't know. The stuff that I see, I look at a lot of foreign media that tells a lot more truth about what is going on in the country. And whenever they have a title on a video, I can't believe it. I often think that I'm being trolled because reality has become so absurd. Whenever Kamala Harris, she's been making gaffes lately. This is like a gaffe team. I mean, she's always talking to the people like she works on Romper Room. Like I had a thing about her in the Romper Room, the Magic Mirror. And, she's the one that said, there's a country and it's small and it's called Ukraine. And then there's another country, it's really big. It's called Russia. I mean, this is how she's talking to people, and it's very off-putting. I know a lot of people that were very excited about her, and she's I'm embarrassed. Like I didn't support her, but she's embarrassing. So I can't imagine like anybody who had high hopes in her. Hopefully everybody is coming to a point where they're saying, you know what, this political process is It's manipulative. It's not true. I need to back up and really look at this again, because turns out this is what happened to our nation in the beginning of the fall. Okay. So a lot of us have gone through the same journey of uncovering the mud floods and Tartaria and the World's Fairs and the orphan trains. What else? We've been looking at all this stuff, only to come back to the fact that the 1800s is when we fell. All right, you want to call it the fall? I am starting there. I have now realized that, like Kevin says, when you go past the 1800s, you're now in the 1600s, the 1400s, the this hundreds. You are now in a point of something called time immemorial. We talked about time immemorial. And what that will do is just keep you in a cycle of, to me, I call it chasing shadows. You know, going back to Egypt and what the Egyptians and all this stuff, what it does for me personally, I can't get anchored if I spend any more time in those areas. Right now, for me, I need to stay right on this land right here. I need to understand identity and law. Law is everything. Because if we fell, what does that mean? We fell from grace. We fell from a high and noble place. So the only way to get back to stand up, if you fall, you have to stand up. So what is it that gives you the strength to stand up if you've fallen down? You either have someone help you up, or you get yourself up and dust yourself off. Our fall being that it was from a lawful place and then an unlawful place. That's where we are. We have broken the law. And that has put us outside of all that goes along with being lawful. Okay. So when I look at things like black-pilled, I want to talk about black because I used to be black. I used to identify as black. I thought black was power. It was, it was whatever, like a moral thing because of all the struggle and victimhood. And, it was the underdog and always striving to win against the system. We were fed a lot of things about who was suppressing us. And it's very interesting to come to an understanding of what group is doing it, and why. So, black. Let's talk about black. Now, black is something that was a new construct that wasn't something, like I said, that is even on the birth certificates of many of us. On my birth certificate, it says Negro. I don't know what it says. If someone's white, does it say anybody that was born before the 70s and you won't have Negro? Tell me what's on your birth certificate. Does it say white or does it say Caucasian? Let me know, because I've never even asked the question, but that would be an interesting thing. Okay, Molly says your birth certificate says Caucasian. Okay, that is very, okay. Counterculture says yours is Negro. Okay. Lori says yours says Caucasian. Okay, so Caucasian. Sean says It says negrescence on mine. Yes. There you are, Sean. My favorite word next to John. Okay. Oh, wait. Now, Deanne says white for hers in 1968. Okay, so they did put white on birth certificate. So Tina is saying Caucasian. All right. Okay, so that's interesting. Girl code, yes, that's what my birth Negro. What? Yes, I'm serious. So what does yours say, girl code? What race? Yours says digital order. I love it. That's great. So wait, Tina's saying hers was 1969 and says Caucasian. All right. Well, we're all told that these are our labels, right? So we have to find our true identity. And I am looking forward to the day of reclassification, that a lot of us who are called to do that, that's not for everyone. Some people, this will never be a thing for them. I don't know. For some, it will. It will be something that you will want to look into. Hey, so for real, it's been a while. How you doing? So you hear Negro used a lot old 50s movies. Really? Okay, I'm not sure when it began, but yeah. So T. Witten says Caucasian is a weird word too. See, a lot of us just have never asked the question, like, why are we called this? Caucasian is it's based on the Caucasus Mountains, right? So do you, who are called Caucasian, do you have a connection to the Caucasus Mountains? Have you ever thought about it? Is it something that, I don't know. I agree, T. Witten, is kind of weird to me too. So, all that to say, we are being given our identity from who? Who is telling us who we are? And why are we accepting it? Why had we accepted it? I don't know. Hey, Stiletti, I haven't seen you in a bit. Thank you for coming by. Color or race? White was okay, so you have white on your birth certificate of 1954. Okay, thank you for sharing. Okay, so Black being a designation, let me tell you, for anybody, and if you are proud, because you're told in this society that being proud of Blackness and being loyal to Blackness, it's a community, you're told, it's a beauty standard or standard of beauty. It's a lot of things, right? It's music, it's hip hop, it's rhythm, it's blues, we're told that Black is all of this, right? It's magic, it's melanin, okay, so turns out Black needs to be reconsidered if you want to stand upright, okay? If that is the goal. Now, that is my goal, okay? And Black is in the dictionary. Let me show you all. Let me stop the screen. Instead of trying to remember what it says, I will read it from what they say, the Black Law Dictionary. Let's go to what the Black's Law Dictionary says about Black. Excuse me. Okay, where did I have it? Okay, let's go to a word that I just learned listening to Kev. It's called Civiliter Mortuus. Can you see this right now? Civiliter Mortuus. Let me make this bigger. Okay. This is what Black means according to law. Now, if you want to be a lawful person, you might want to look into why in the law dictionary. So this features Black's Law Dictionary 2nd edition online here. Civiliter mortis. It means civilly dead. Dead in the view of the law. The condition of one who has lost his civil rights and capacities and is accounted dead in law. Okay, all the blackety black people who are so proud of blackety black lives mattering. Do you see how we are being played by the left and the right? First of all, agreeing to be called black. How did that come about? And when you want to leave, well, Candace Owens called it Blacksit, okay? I don't know about Candace Owens. I know a lot of you love her. I'm not saying anything bad about Candace Owens. I'm just saying that I'm not really I don't know, okay? You know how they say I've got a little bit of concerns in some areas, okay? So if you like her, I love it, okay? And I like some of the things that she says. I really do. I think she's very beautiful and articulate. She's a, wonderful presenting woman. So just the fact that anybody who creates content and they have black in their title, this is something of concern. And it's something that people who don't know this, I feel that we should look into it and really have some dialogue and thought behind it, prayer even, and either decide that you are no longer going to ascribe to blackness because what it is saying, I'm going to read it again because it does bear repeating. And this is an education for us all. This issue of blackness. So again, it means this right here, this legal term, Civiliter mortis, which means civilly dead, dead in the view of the law, the condition of one who has lost his civil rights and capacities and is accounted dead in law. So can you see now why organizations like the NAACP and everything that has blackety, blackety, black in it? Do you see why this is a big racial grift? And this is a thing to keep people enslaved and dead, basically. Dead in law. No civil rights. So that whole civil rights movement, if anybody knows what the late Martin Luther King Jr. said about how he felt at some point, I'm paraphrasing what I heard, is that he felt that he led his people into a burning building. That you can unpack that however you want. But I heard that this was something that he regretted. So anyone who is hustling blackness at this point in time, we are in a day of revelation. Everybody has the ability in their look. devices. You have a library right here. So it's no excuse anymore to be ignorant. Now, we got, we can claim rookie error. We didn't know. But now we should know. And when we know, we have to respond. So let's see what CWS said. You say they also use blackness as a political weapon to keep people in bondage and that they can't succeed. Right. So if you listen to the people who claim to love the black people, the Democrats, like if you see we're running up to the midterm. So this is when all the political theater goes on. Okay. It's really insulting to your intelligence because these clowns only come out every 4 years, every 2 years, right? So now you got the whole drama, especially in this state. You got Stacey Abrams, a complete Soros person, right? Totally, I mean, I can't even believe, okay? But I can believe, okay? So you got her, you got Raphael Warnock, and they have the blacks pitted against. You got Herschel, what's his name? Herschel Walker, and all the drama that just went. I mean, if you turn on any video, you got his wife saying, yeah, he tried to unalive me. He did this. It's like constant, okay? He paid for an abortion. And I'm thinking, you are the people who love abortion. So you should be giving him a high five if he paid for abortions, right? So they pick and choose what is going to offend them, and they're not honest, okay? If he paid for abortions, okay, not cool on my end, you know what I'm saying? But what about the other guys? Have they paid for abortions? Like, do we know? And especially for the left to be using that against him is very ridiculous, okay? Those people of all people, I can see if the people who claim to be pro-life were saying, you know what? Yeah, you're not the guy we want, okay? But I'm not really engaged in it. I just observe it. And that's all I can do anymore. I've pretty much unplugged from it. I know a lot of people are feeling what is it called? Buyer's remorse, because they were online saying, I'm riding with Biden. I'm riding with Biden. I don't hear anybody saying I'm riding with Biden anymore. Or I don't see people making a big fuss about Kamala anymore, wearing pearls and what was the sneaker she had on? Anyway, this is a clown show of epic proportions. So when they do this Black Lives Matter mantra, and you look at the definition of a Black life, according to law, we're talking about a life that has no civil rights, dead. So when you look at Black culture, it should come at no surprise when you look at the music that they present to us right now. Thank you, Deborah. Yeah, the Converse. Remember that was a thing. Pearls and Converse. I saw a lot of people walking around and they had pearls and Converse. I don't see any of that energy right now. So some people are feeling played. If they're paying attention, they should feel played. Hey, I feel played. I don't know about you. I feel played, okay? But really, if you went with the Joe Biden ticket with Kamala, I know you're feeling some buyer's remorse. If you have any brain cells left, you got to be concerned. A lot of them don't seem like they are. They might really still be riding with Biden. I don't know. But wow. Anyway, back to this, I wanted to also go through a lot of things that are going on right now. So we have distraction. And I was talking to my daughter about the OJ trial. Remember the OJ trial when that happened? And I let her know that the distraction that was needed had to be big enough to take the focus away from what Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, and that crew, they were drafting and pushing through the 1994 crime bill. Okay? So the OJ trial gave cover to that crime. I'm going to call it a crime. Okay? And then you have Kamala putting away black people. She was the top cop. So this is the group of people who hate police, right? They don't like cops. They want them defunded. Cops are racist, all that stuff, right? Yet they were excited about a top cop from California who threw many black people in jail. Even threw a woman in jail, I heard that her child was truant, okay? Truancy. So that hypocrisy didn't age well. It just didn't age well. If a person is honest, it doesn't age well. So, you know, they say she's a black woman. So maybe she is a black woman, okay? Maybe I'll say maybe that's on her birth. I don't know what's on her birth certificate. I heard her talk about the fact that she was an Indian woman. She was cooking Indian food. I thought it was wonderful. I was watching her cook Indian food and talk about her Indian heritage, right? Okay. But I'm told she's black. So if black doesn't mean a color, but a standing, is she black in terms of standing? I don't know. That's something I never looked into. But, you know, whenever they need to get black people into some sort of programming and propaganda, why is it that you think they target black people so much when it comes to elections and stuff like that? If black people are such a minority, they use the term minority, which means, let me look it up, okay? What do you think minority means? Let's see what it means in law. Minority. If you know, just put it in the okay, I'm looking up minority as a legal definition. Okay. Yes. Mish, hey Mish, and counter fewer in number. Minor, less than. Okay, I'll look up another one. So minority, wait, did it give me majority? Hold it. Gave me the wrong one when I hit. Bear with me. Okay, so minority according to law. The term minority has the following distinct meanings in law: the state or condition of being under legal age, a group that does not constitute a politically dominant voting majority of the total population in a given society. It can also refer to a group having less than a controlling number of votes. and there are ethnic or racial minorities. Okay, so minority for purposes of this section means a citizen or lawful permanent resident of the United States who is an ethnic person of color and who is Black. A person having origins in any of the Black racial groups of Africa. Hispanic, a person of Mexican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Central or South American, or other Spanish or Portuguese culture or origin, regardless of race. Okay, so it's going through a whole lot of rigmarole. But do you see how the minority being someone who is not of legal age? So that means you require someone to care for you. Do you see where I'm going with this? So if you're a minor, you are a ward of the state, a ward. Have you ever connected, if you pay attention to the music, like I was saying earlier, that they present now, it's not the music I grew up with, you know, Earth, Wind, and Fire and all these kind of bands that played music, you know, played instruments. So you have artists, they call them, with names like Da Baby, Little or Lil Wayne. You have Lil Kim, Little Yachty, Little Yachty. Yes, I got to think of, okay, so you have Little Pump, right? Little Pump. It's more babies. You have Big Baby, Da Baby, and probably some there you go, 50 Cent. He couldn't be $1. He had to be 50 cents, half a dollar. Thank you, John. Lil Richard. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Deborah. This started a lot more. Okay. So we had this agenda going on a lot earlier than I remember. There you are, Little Richard. Interesting. Boozy. Lil Boozy. Lil Boozy. So you have the infantilization of the Black. Usually the man is targeted more often, but we do have Lil Kim. So it's an infantilization, okay? So it goes along with being a minor, a minority. So Lil Jon, there you are. Thank you, Corinne. Thanks for helping me. You have Lil Jon, who, by the way, if you didn't know, he's like some graduate of some Ivy League school. If you hear him talk, he's like brilliant. So this is a character that a lot of them, they sign up for this stuff and they push this programming on the people. And you know, the term like, I'm going back to my crib. Have you ever thought about, they had a show called Cribs, MTV Cribs. It's very weird. You know, I don't know if you guys do the thing where you call your loved one, hey babe, hey babe, hey babe, hey baby, hey baby, baby. Is that kind of weird? Do we need to look into why we're calling each other baby in romantic relationships? Is that a little weird? Is it just me? I know Paul brought it up the other day and I was like, yeah, it is. It's always been a little bit, a little weird. Do you like it, or is it just we're what? Cutting hairs, slicing hairs. B Wolf says Little Stevie Wonder when he first came out. That's right. It's called Black Vernacular. There you are, Black Vernacular. John, I think you're onto something, Little Jen. Lil Jen. So I'm not going to get deep into the legal aspects of it because there's so much more to really get into the aspect of minority standing. But you remember Minority Report, the movie? They say that that is based on the 1994 crime bill, the pre-thought crime. Okay? It's just something that I've heard. Now, let me tell you what I think. Also, this is my opinion of them needing to get the Black people into this. It's like a fantasy world. So right now we have some movies that are out. Well, not out completely, but one that is coming out. Let me share my screen. If you don't know that let's see, can you see this? Okay, did anybody know that we have another Wakanda movie coming out? I have to sneeze. Wait a minute. Hold on. Of course, the sneeze did not happen. So I felt like I had to sneeze. Okay, so we have Marvel Studios. They are doing another installment of Black Panther. Okay, does anybody know the backstory of Black Panther and the creator of this whatever you franchise? Does anybody know what it's based on? I hadn't seen the first Black Panther. I played, I had fun when it came out. I did the, all this stuff, which is this, when you cross yourself like that, it's a symbolic thing for, the people that like symbols and all that goofy stuff, okay? So they're into all that stuff, so doing the Wakanda thing, you see it here. So we have another installment of Wakanda Forever is going to be called. So Wakanda is some kind of mythical place. So this is the Black Panther Forever, Wakanda Forever rather, is an upcoming American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character Black Panther, produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. Do you see where I'm going? So you have Disney. Disney, I would say, has been a huge propaganda industry. Okay, so you have things that have happened on the sound stages of Disney that it's said in truth communities. That's where they filmed all the stuff that they have us believe. They went to wars, they went to the moon. It's all filmed in Disney Studios. So Disney, if you look at the org chart of all the companies that are media, mass media, just about all of it seems like it's owned by Disney. So Corinne says it will be woke. That's what they've done. They've ruined the Marvel franchises with wokeism, as they call it. So, that means you have to have somebody from the LGBTQ RSV. You have to have that representation. You have to have someone Black. You have to have a woman, right? Or women. Mostly it has to be women that are smarter than the men, right? The women must be smarter. And what else do you have to have in these? It's always like something. I don't know. Hitler. I don't know. Nazis. They love to put that in movies. But you're going to have I don't know if people are here for it anymore. The first Black Panther, it seemed like it was just more exciting. I don't know. This is coming out November 11th. I don't know. But I've heard they pretty much ruined all of it. Now I want to present something else that came across my attention that is coming out. So we have Wakanda Forever and we have this. Have you heard of this? Because I didn't know about this. Let's see if you can see the screen. Okay, we have Black Adam. Did anybody know about this one? Please tell me. Black Adam. I was like, really? What the heck? Let me find my place in the Black Adam. Okay, so the New Yorker. This is from. You have Black Adam reviewed. Dwayne Johnson emerges from a tomb and finds nothing. The setup for a new franchise strips the substance and the fun from a mighty character. So we have Dwayne Johnson has the star power, they say, and physical prowess to hold attention with minimal fuss. But the role itself is rote and empty. Well, that doesn't sound like a good review from the New Yorker. There's nothing so wrong with Black Adam that it should be avoided, but nothing besides the appealing presence of Dwayne Johnson that makes it worth rushing out to see. The movie's many small flaws and even its few small virtues arise from its one big problem, namely its positioning in the DC corporate, that's a key word, corporate cinematic empire. It isn't worse than many of the big budget CGI superhero spectacles that have more or less taken over studio filmmaking. Well, it's not telling me what it's about. Let me see if I can skim through. What is it about? Okay, it says it begins with an immense backstory of mumbo jumbo set in 2600 BCE in a fictitious Middle Eastern or North African land called Kandak, where a tyrant named Akhton Marwan Kenzari enslaves his subjects to dig for a mineral called Ethereum, which he'll forge a super powered crown. Interesting. Okay. I don't want to go through the whole thing because I don't want to do a spoiler alert. You may want to go and see Black Adam. So Black Adam, everybody, what do you think? Who knew? I didn't know they had anything called Black Adam. And why is he black? Why? Does anybody know? Can they fill me in on why is there a Black Adam? What is this all about? And why is Dwayne Johnson the one that plays Black Adam? Anybody have any Ethereum? Yeah, what's up with that? Ethereum. They spelled it Ethereum or whatever. You say an obvious cryptocurrency reference. Interesting. Yes. IG, how you doing? I missed you. Or Ether. Oh, very interesting. Ether. Okay, so you have Black Adam. Now, what I want to say is that for those who follow scripture, who come out of a Christian background like myself, you have okay, 1 minute. Black Eve. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so Black Adam if you come out of my background, you a lot of you share the similar background. We learned about the first Adam, right? So the first Adam, and for most people know about this, Adam from the Garden of Eden. Adam was the first Adam that we're told in the line of Adam. So we know we had one, and that Adam fell. He fell. So he fell from grace. He fell from the law. Does that mean he fell from the law? Possibly. Because I've never thought about it until now. That what was the fall? I mean, yeah, we hear that he ate an apple with Eve and she got him to eat from the tree of knowledge and the tree of, right? The tree of knowledge, the tree of life, but it was the tree of knowledge. So what was the fall of the first Adam is now a question that I have. 1 minute. So if we have the first Adam falling from grace, and we can debate or discuss if it's from the law. So who is the second Adam? Anybody? The second Adam. Deborah says the tree of fuck around and find out. There you go. You sound pretty salty there, Deborah, because that sounds like something that my salty cracker says, and I love it. It's so funny. The tree of fuck around and find out, right? So the second Adam, Sean says, is Yeshua. Okay. So Yeshua, the second Adam, it makes me wonder, why are they playing around with calling Adam Black Adam? Thank you, Counterculture. Counterculture says, oh, cute. You're like, so Counterculture says also Jesus was the second Adam. Okay, thank you. So does Tina. The second Adam is Jesus or Yeshua. B. Wolf says the fall of the first Adam could have been him not wanting to be with his first wife, Lilith. So, okay, B. Wolf, you feel that he had another wife. Now, I know some people ascribe to the Lilith narrative. I don't have any, I've never read a document that I never understood the Lilith thing. I think I did a piece of content on Lilith. I just researched whatever I could find. But when it comes to a book, like something tangible, I have not read anything about Lilith. If anybody can help me, if there is some apocryphal books that I could read about Lilith, like I read from the Book of Enoch, if you know of an apocryphal book, please share. Anybody? Christy says Black Adam, Satan. Not sure. But it is interesting because if we were going by the Black's Law dictionary, black being used means no standing in law, lawless and dead. Okay, so that's something that we could discuss further, but I didn't want to get into that too much. I wanted to touch on it just so we can look at some things that are going on. Okay, so we went through the definition of black being no civil rights, okay? And do you want civil rights? Do you want to be a citizen? What is the proper designation of people when it comes to this land right here? We'll get into that more at another time. But also one of the things, I take notes when I listen to Coffee and Kush. And Kev was talking about the Matrix. And a lot of us think of the Matrix as the movie, The Matrix. And when you think about the Matrix, another thing about it that was interesting, besides the red pill and the blue pill. So we have a reference to the political, whatever, polarity. And the woman who was the Oracle. Can someone tell me who was the Oracle when you watched the first Matrix movie? Who was the Oracle? I'll wait. I'll have a little water. Okay, T. Witten says civil is Roman. Don't want any part of it. Thank you for sharing. Civil. Why would anybody be fighting for civil rights when civil means like a citizen? Do we really understand what a citizen is? That means that you were brought here from somewhere else. You're like a federalized, you're seen federalized according to the corporation. So let's see. Sean says Christ existed before the world and is the Son of God, but stepped into the role of the second Adam to be the sacrifice for our redemption. Thank you, Sean. So who was the Oracle? Anybody can share what they remember? Who saw the Matrix movie? Who was the Oracle? Deborah saying Black Moon Lilith. I'm not sure. I don't know who Black Moon Lilith. Let me know what that is. Okay, so Counta Culture says the Oracle is, according to the architect, the mother of the Matrix. Who was she? If we go by what society says, what kind of woman, what description, who was she that played the Oracle? Was that her name, Gloria Foster? Let me look her up. I forget who played the Oracle. Just tell me what kind of woman she was. When you saw her, how does she present? The Oracle from the Matrix. Girlco said, I just talked to you about the Oracle. She was in the Minority Report. Oh, really? I thought she was in the Matrix. That's what I'm thinking too, Molly. Yeah, here it is. Okay, the Oracle was, like you said a psychic Black woman. Okay. T. Witten says a Black grandma. Okay, that's a good description. So let me just go. Oh, I'll read it. The Oracle is a fictional character in the Matrix franchise. She was created by the Wachowskis and portrayed by, you're right, Gloria Foster. You all know your stuff. Gloria Foster in the first and second film, and Mary Alice in the third film. The character also appears in the video game Enter the Matrix. Okay, so Gloria Foster, if you were to look at her, she presents as what society would call a Black woman. All right, so that's according to, the usage of descriptions. A fair skin, the first woman. Then you have the second, the second woman who was in the Revolutions. Okay, so they present as what society says a Black woman. Why do you think they chose a Black grandma to play the Oracle? Does anybody have any idea why they would do that? Do you think it was just a one-off thing, or do you think it was very purposeful? Tina says Oracle card in the tarot cards. Okay, so it's a card I don't know the tarot cards, so I'm not sure what it means when they pull the tarot Oracle card, but let's see what Counterculture says. The Oracle was our Oprah Winfrey. Okay, you get a car, huh? That kind of Oracle where everybody gets a car. Okay, so Again, my notes from Coffee and Kush. The matrix is the legal system. Okay, so one thing that he encourages us a lot, Kev, is to not be in this fake world. Okay, we have to take the goggles off and know the difference between that matrix that is not natural and what is natural. And law is natural. Common law is natural. So what we're doing now with all this stuff they did to usurp our original documents and replace it with a corporate document for their corporation. There was a coup. Yes, there was an insurrection and a coup. And our original heads of state were either taken into prison as war prisoners, or they were, what I believe so far as what I understand, is they were killed. Our original heads of state were killed. So there was a coup. And it is biblical. You can look and see where it says all these nations came to conspire against us. We think it's somewhere in time immemorial. We think that this stuff happened like eons ago. We're talking very recent history. What I like that Kev says, only 2 grandmas away. That's not that long ago. 2 grandmas away. That's when we, the originals of this land, we fell. We fell from the law. We agreed to be called black minorities, which means no standing in law. So now you see why this is, all this drama goes on. Why do you think that the Democrats obsess over race, over black? All you hear from them is they infantilize black people. Now it makes sense why they do it. Because black means no standing in law, dead. You can do whatever you want. So they like to say, oh, we got to send mail ballots because the black people, the minorities, they don't know how to get on computers and sign up. We have to hold their hand. We got to pull them. You know, all those Karens, right? Okay. The Karens that are in the Democratic Party. They treat black people like they're a bunch of riding the short school bus, right? So they believe that black people are always a victim. They have to be coddled. They can't do things. You heard Joe Biden saying they don't know how to get the computer to go to the right website. Of all people, he's talking on abilities, right? So this is why it's such an insult for anybody who can continue to stay in a party that they only like victimization. They are a party of just all of your weaknesses are just on display. They don't come from a position of strength. So when you look at the original coup that happened, the Civil War and all the wars, the theater of war, when you look at the people who went against the Union, they were from foreign nations. These are the Germans, the people, the Dutch, those people who also, they are involved in banking. This group is involved in banking. So they're involved in propaganda. So when they had this coup against our union in the 1800s, This was a war. This was a very strategic, they plotted, they used methods that just no fairness. The shooting people in the backs, hanging people, the lynching that you saw, that you were told that, everybody they had people that infiltrated all into our union, and they lynched our leaders. They lynched our patriarchs. They had internment camps. They had a Holocaust here. Here, a Holocaust. But you know what? Whenever I tried to talk about this, everyone, I grew up and I had a Jewish stepmother. When I tried to talk about the Black Holocaust, I was shut down. I was not allowed to talk about what as a child, I knew that there was a Black Holocaust. I don't know how I knew it, but I knew it. She would talk about the Holocaust of the Jews that happened in Germany, Poland. She had me crying, and taking this on as if it was my trauma. And yes, I was traumatized by hearing about the Holocaust all the time. I would read about the diary of Anne Frank. But when I talked about the Black Holocaust, I was told, how dare you? How dare you try to compare something that happened to your people? Turns out, and see, this is where I don't really know what Kanye West is doing, okay? I'm not going to try to act like I understand what he's doing. But what I can say, that what he is doing is he is opening up the floodgates of conversation. We were told we can't even talk about this stuff. Well, Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger that comes out of that German Nazism, they're not targeting any other group. And let's be honest, now I know abortion happens with everyone, but who are they targeting with the abortion? We have to be honest. When you look at the Margaret Sanger speeches and you look at her and how she moved, she was very clear that abortion was to be targeted towards the Negroes. They called it the Negro problem. So why is that it's the Negro problem? She called the Negroes the weeds in the garden of humanity. So we have to be honest about these conversations. We have to have racial conversations. They may be upsetting, but we don't shy away from that over here. Because we're going to get to some understanding. We're going to know who the enemies are. See, right now, it's not possible for them to continue to hide. They have run out of time. See, they kept us in time immemorial. They had us chasing shadows, looking here, looking there. No, look at the 1800s. Look at the wars and the different people. They had people playing multiple roles, crisis actors, playing multiple roles, popes, presidents, all kinds of things. So there was a coup. Now the Negroes were taken as prisoners of war. So all of you that think about this slavery narrative, this out of Africa, it's not true. It's not true. It is a war, a coup against us. So a coup, it undermines, when you look up the definition of a coup, it is to usurp a monarch. Okay, a monarch, to replace it with a democracy. Who always screams and loves a democracy? What group loves a democracy? We are not a democracy. I believe the same thing, Sean. I recently saw a really good breakdown of Abe Lincoln's death was all staged. Well, you know, you look at the fact that now when you look at it, it's like, okay, he was at a theater. Okay, that right there should say, okay, he was at a theater. The guy who supposedly killed him was an actor, right? Wasn't he an actor? It just, you know, it really is kind of in front of your face when you start to see these narratives. Now, I will talk about Abe Lincoln at another time, but he is given this, he freed the slaves narrative, okay? So if slavery, as we were told, some out of Africa ships and all this stuff, it doesn't make any sense, okay? So the scenario that I am going with is that nations came together, and you could pretty much know it was the Crown of England, it was definitely the Dutch, the German, and all of those people groups. They came into this nation and they staged a coup d'etat, however you like to say it. And they have been in power due to their infiltration. And the Negroes, when you see these pictures of slavery taken with photographs, right? They had photography. So you see them working in fields. And a lot of times it looks a little bit staged to me, right? But they could have, yes, used them as labor. These were prisoners of war from here. Do you understand now the scenario that I want to challenge us to think about? So when you have the Red Cross getting involved, the Red Cross comes and they set up prison camps, right? And they're seen as the good people. They're out they're doing all these great heroic things, but the Red Cross is not good. Maybe they do some good things to cover and make you think it's like whatever they call it, right? You think they're doing good. So if they had internment camps and say they took some of the colonial Americans and they sent them to other theaters of war, because they had so many wars going on at this time. So they could take all of the soldiers and fighting men away, and then they can invade the cities like Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greenwood. You know all the towns, even Palm Beach, Florida. They, you know, we look at these World's Fairs. What were these World's Fairs? And where were the Negroes? Isn't that weird that the Negroes, you don't hear about the Negroes attending the World's Fairs? Did you all know that? Had you even thought about it? I didn't even think about it. Where were the so-called Black people during the World's Fairs? If you look it up, the narrative is they didn't want them there. They didn't want the Black Negroes at the World's Fairs. Kind of weird. Okay? Kind of strange. I'm just going to park that there. I'll deal with it in a little bit deeper at another time. Okay, so back to this Civiliter Mortuus. Let me go back to present my my slide again. For anybody who's just joining, thank you for joining. Okay, so I'm just calling this red-pilled repentance because this Civiliter Mortuus, a lot of people are stuck in this black-pilled existence. It's a dead state. And when someone is dead, they have no ability to reason. They have no moral standing. They don't work on a moral compass of sorts when they're dead, when they love dead things. Okay? So it is a civil death, being cut off, dead under the black hand. Okay? So it's a separation of a man from civil society and rights. It's alienation. It's being cut off. So when I was in my dead state of black thought, because I identified as a black person, you see me over here with the fist. Let's talk about what is this fist right here. Does anybody know what this fist represents? I'll wait. Tell me what it is. The fist up in the air. What is it? Anybody? The fist. The thing that you see, Black Lives Matter, you see all this stuff that it's power. Okay. Kathy says the fist means power. Okay. So, all right, you say power to black power. Okay, some people, yeah. So in the 70s and stuff, they meant black power, power to the people, revolution. Okay, so let's look into this fist. All right, the fist in the air, or just the fist period, I'll tell you what the significance, when I looked it up, the raised fist. Okay, the raised fist or the clenched fist is a long-standing image of mixed meaning, often a symbol of political solidarity. It is also a common symbol of communism, socialism, and other revolutionary social movements. It can also represent a salute to express unity, strength, or resistance. So it goes on to talk about the places where it started. Communist Party of Germany. Okay. So we have Germany factoring in. Did anybody know that the fist started in Germany? So why am I putting a fist up? If this represents communism, why am I doing that? You know why? Because I was dead in my thought. I was black. I had black thought. So I put a fist in the air. This is saying that I want to be under the black fist, the dead, clenched fist. Let me show you. Let's look at this fist a little bit more. Okay, so the clenched fist. Let's look at some images. See if that. Okay, what do you think? Haven't you seen this before? So if this started in Germany, why is that being used in a lot of the social, what do you call it, social justice? Why is it also really heavily being used by Black organizations? What is that about? Well, see, this fist is a dead Black fist, meaning it means dead, dead to the law, dead to civil rights. Okay. It is deadness. Why? Who loves deadness? Who loves dead things and talking? I mean, everything's dead, you know. How did this clenched fist become a Black power symbol? How did that happen? So, you know what happened is it started with the I told you about, okay, the clenched fist. It was used in the Olympics. Remember the Olympic guys that stood on, what was that, the 19 city? You had Tommy Smith first place, John Carlos third, and they were saluting the two from America, the first and third place. They had their fist in the air. So you had that. You had the whole thing with the Black Panthers. Okay. So look at this, everyone. Tell me what you think. Why? Why do you think they do this? And what kind of energy, like when you look at it, what do you like think of? Because now when I look at this, I see Germany. It looks very Germanic. So that's an interesting thing. Now I'm skipping around. I want to show you something. This is kind of, I want to show you the so-called people that they want to tell you were slaves. Okay, I want to show you the slaves. I want you to tell me what you think. How could these people have been slaves the way you were told in the narrative? Let me let you look at these so-called slaves. Do these look like slaves to you? Be honest. Like, do these people who, a lot of them were scientists and all kinds of like brilliant minds, how in the world were they slaves? How does that make sense? Why do we still let them get away with stupid narratives? Let me go to my 1 minute. Okay, so I just want to show you some so-called Negroes from around the time of the slaves. What do you think? These looks like slaves to you? A lot of them made their own clothing. Did you know that? They were sewing their own clothing. So does this look like slaves? All this slave narrative stuff? Look at her. She was totally A1, A2 over here. Look at this woman. She got a gun. She got a pow-pow. How is that she had a pow-pow back then? How did they allow slaves to have pow-pows? So look at these people and just tell me, do they look like slaves? So this is around the time of the fall of the colonial American. This is the fall. This is when they traded their common law, Levitical law, traded it basically under, a coup, traded their common law for civil rights and civil law. It's a long story as to how, people fall. But like I said, it wasn't that long ago, 2 grandmas ago. these people fell. You're looking at people that did not come from Africa. If they came from Africa, wouldn't they look like they have African types of manners? Why would they wear clothes like this? These are clothes that they made themselves, okay? Why don't they look like African types of clothing that you have been used to seeing? You're told, you know what I'm saying? So I just want you to take this narrative that you've been told, all of us have been told, that my people, because I am this people group right here. This looks like pictures of my family, some of these pictures. I had inventors and I had soldiers, heroes that fought in wars. So how is it that they came from Africa and this is the 1800s and they look like this? You tell me, does this make sense to you? Because I can't continue to believe these lies. These people did not come from Africa. You show me Africans or Indians. So for the people that do the Indian thing, these are not Indian people. These are original American, colonial, brunette, whatever you want to call. But we're going to have to get on the same page because all of us have been lied to. Don't you want to know the truth? Even if it hurts you, even if it disrupts you, because this is disruptive. We've been told these people came from Africa. And you are looking at proof that this is not the case. There is no way. These people wrote their lines, their bloodlines in Bibles. Okay? Bibles. You know when you have your family lineage in a Bible? Oh, yes. These Bibles are sold for thousands of dollars. Okay? So if they didn't come from Africa, where did these people come from? I just want you to take a look. Look at this woman with the bows and the hair and the frilly lace and everything. She or someone made this stuff. I have seamstresses in my family from Savannah, one of the original colonies. Savannah looks a lot like Philadelphia. I just want you to just take it in. You tell me, how did they learn English and sciences? How did they learn culinary and all of this stuff they did? What is this all about that you're looking at? So a lot of the towns that these people lived in, they are buried under lakes. They have whole graveyards underneath lakes that people live on these lakes. They have houses on these lakes. We're told that this is elite property. But the people don't even know that there are graveyards under these lakes. There was a Black Holocaust, everybody. I want you to know the truth. It's time, okay? Kanye West is disrupting us so much that we need to have these conversations now, okay? Something is not making sense. Something is not making sense. And don't start me with the black cowboys of the West. I don't even want to go into that because that's going to take some time too. But it turns out a lot of the leaders, like Marcus Garvey, these were people that were agents of another nation. They were agents of the crown. They were trying to get the original Americans to go over to Africa. He had a line, a steamship. Why do you think he had a steamship? Who do you think financed his steamship to try to get the original Americans to leave and go to Africa? You had agents like Marcus Garvey. Yeah, I said it. I said it. Okay? Why would someone want to lure people away from their land and go to Africa if they were not from Africa? So these are agents, and they're all being exposed. Yeah, even post whatever post-human, what do you call it? After death. We can look into people like Marcus Garvey. Was he really for or against? Look at these dresses, everyone. Again, how do slaves know how to do these fine arts? How do you come out of slavery and just become this kind of people? No, this is a people who fell. They fell. And when a fall happens, the only way to stand back up is to be lawful. What group tries to encourage this group to be lawless? Look at the cities right now that are erupting with crime. Who are the people that they're showing doing all the crime in New York City right now? See, the Democrats want the black people to be lawless. They love the lawlessness that's happening. They take the criminals, they let them, if they do put them in jail, they bail them out or just put them back on the streets. That's right. Lawful is not legal. Thank you. So yeah, thank you, Belinda, for the difference. So lawful is not legal because they said it was lawful to kill a baby in the womb. Roe v. Wade, they said it was lawful, but was it legal according to the Levitical law that says you should not kill? How do they get around that? They are lawless, and anyone who continues to follow them into their death. This is a contract with death. And we have a choice between death and life. So it is a choice that everybody has to make. But one thing about it, God is not mocked. He knows who has decided to go with death. And guess what? They are dropping like flies right now. Nobody's celebrating that. Nobody wants to say, I told you so. But we saw this coming. You know, when people believe in a government, a corporate government, how can a government give you your rights when your rights come from the Creator? So the Americans, the colonial Americans, must stand up through the law. This is the only way. This is the only way, everyone. We can't vote our way out of things. We have to adhere to God's supreme law, the common law. So I just wanted you to see what you were told were savages, slaves, the weeds in the garden, according to Margaret Sanger. See, these are my people. So I wanted you to get a good look. and my people or any people who love freedom. But one thing I want you to know, that me knowing my identity should not take anything away from you, because everyone should celebrate that the original American is coming into their right mind and they are learning who they are. This is a God thing. God is doing this. God is using vessels to disrupt. And look at the things that are happening. I don't care if you don't like him. Like I said, I don't know what to think about Kanye. But this is one thing that they're showing us in the narrative, is that this is happening. Okay, let's go to this. Kanye West. Now, I don't know if this is all theater, whatever, but it says that Kanye West, JP Morgan, ending relationship, but not over anti-Semitic rants. Is ending a relationship with Kanye. So JP Morgan Chase, business relationship, but the breakup is not a result of the controversy over the hip hop star's recent Do you all feel that part of the darker tribe of Hebrews? So what is it? So JP Morgan, I could talk about him at another time, but he has a lot to do with us going on to the fake fiat currency, stealing the gold. Okay? So JP Morgan he's also connected to funding, right? The Titanic. We're going to look at who was really on the Titanic. We were given a narrative, but guess what? We've been lied about the Titanic. Who was on it? Who were they really trying to kill on the Titanic? Okay. We'll look at it. We'll look at it another time. But JP Morgan is a banker. So isn't that interesting? So we'll continue to look at this scenario, this drama that's going on. But it all goes back to stealing the gold, taking the identities, the names, and basically taking a nation, turning it from a monarch to a democracy. Yep, to a democracy, always yelling about a democracy. So let's see, where are we? I'm about to end the stream. So this red-pilled repentance is me. I am currently in a process of learning how to become reclassified the right way. Okay? The right way to be classified correctly. So this is a biblical thing. Okay? There is a kinsman redeemer that is on the way. We are reclaiming right now. We are being redeemed and reclaimed. We are going into a Jubilee. They did not want the Jubilee to happen. They can't stop it. We're taking the rainbow and the promises of the rainbow. We're taking it back. This was a promise to the heirs of salvation, the rainbow. It has nothing to do with a lifestyle. And see, that's why people are being judged right now for doing such a thing. And, you see Nick Cannon, he got in trouble like Kanye. Remember, he made some supposed anti-Semitic remarks and he had to go on an apology tour. He had to get in front of what they call our rabbis, where we're told we should not call anyone a rabbi, only the Messiah. So he had to go on a tour of apologies and And look at the black fist. Look at the fist, and it's white on the chalkboard. But look at what Nick Cannon has behind him. He has the fist of death. Okay? When you look at the Civiliter Mortuus, mort means dead. So, that's where you get the mortuary, mortgage. So the fist in the air is taking you're signing a contract to be dead in law. So look at that. Nick Cannon has the fist as he's going on an apology tour. And now Nick Cannon is someone who has like children. He's having children being born every time you look around. He has another child. And it seems like this came out of nowhere, where he is acting like what they call a plantation buck. A plantation buck that just impregnates people. So he's running around a rich man, but he's behaving like someone that they claim is impoverished. They call them pookies and ray-rays. He's acting like a pookie and a ray-ray and having children with, tons of kids. So I don't know what his whole thing is. He's an agent. That's my opinion, because he threw water on the Nipsey Hussle documentary of Dr. Sebi. So he came in saying that he was going to finish this documentary, and nothing has been seen of this documentary. So I'll let this picture serve as, we'll see. You can make your own mind up as to what's going on with Nick Cannon. Okay. So I just want you to know that I got to run. I have a meeting right now. I could talk a lot longer. This has been a long live stream. Thank you for joining me. I will pick up this, we'll continue talking about this, because this is what we need to talk about. Okay. We don't need to be shy and scared to talk about race and the people who have put us in these labels, and we have traded in our heirship for some dead corporation, okay, to have civil rights. Okay, so I am going in the direction of common law, supreme law, and we're going to get to the bottom of what's going on around here, okay? So I love you all. Blessings. Thank you for joining. And I will see you very soon. All right. Take care.